Okay, for all loan officers who've been in the business for under, say, 7 or 8 years, there's a term called alt-doc that you probably never heard of. That stands for alternative documentation. And it was kind of a big deal back in the day. Because what it meant was for like self-employed people who were writing everything off and weren't showing an income, they really didn't have a way of qualifying on a full documentation loan. So somebody said, these are qualified people who make money, what can we do? Well, let's create a form of alternative documentation. And what we allowed was bank statements, because you could see deposits on bank statements of self-employed people, and you could figure out over a long enough period of time if they in fact made the money to qualify for the loan. It was brilliant, and by the way, desperately missing out of today's market. Until now, Angel Oak has an alternative documentation loan or an alt-doc loan where you don't have to have W-2s or paycheck stubs, but rather bank statements. This is huge for self-employed people. Now, if you want to increase your business with a loan that still has the ability to repay in place so it's safe with really fantastic rates, Angel Oak might be the answer for you. Alt-doc, think about it. Like this banner right over there. So as you've seen, Bank of America has come out with a new 3% down loan, and I think it's called the Screw FHA. Frank, is it the Screw FHA? Or?
Something like that.
Okay, yeah, it's the Screw FHA, we believe. Anyways, Quicken's talked about getting out of the space of FHA as well. Wells Fargo has pulled back. Really, most big lenders are pulling away from FHA because of HUD and DOJ lawsuits. So what does this mean for FHA? What does a weak FHA mean for the housing industry, the economy really as a whole?
Well, we had a chance to ask David Stevens, the president of the Mortgage Bankers Association, what he thought about it, and here's what he had to say.
Bonehead. Yeah, I think my great fear is that this amazing institution that was created in 1934 during the Depression to provide liquidities to families across the country, originally through Title I lending, but ultimately through mortgage loans, is at risk. And yeah, I do believe that the announcement that Bank of America made, and you're going to hear another one here, I think, shortly, of a similar concept, is because lenders trust the process with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac now more than they do FHA. And I want to highlight the fact that, as you know, we started that rep and warrant clarity process with the MBA, with the working group and the FHFA and both Freddie and Fannie. With the term sheet and negotiations, we were able to establish what constitutes a material violation of your rep and warrant, remedies to repair those reps and warrants, right. What are the various ways to resolve errors in loan files, and we've completed that process to the point where what began with many years ago just putbacks and concerns about the GSE rep and warrant process to now confidence in the GSEs. That needs to be repeated at FHA. FHA needs to provide a loan level certification that an employee is signing of a company that doesn't hold them accountable for any and all errors in a loan file, because some are material, some are clerical and can be fixed and are not material to the decision. And we need to separate those. And you're seeing, starting with the major lenders, a lot of trumpeting about their exiting of the FHA program, or at minimum reducing significantly their role in the program. And you and I both know, particularly, in Sacramento, California, in areas where their average loan sizes, maybe not as much today, but once upon a time were very low in this big FHA market.
Oh, it still is, yeah.
That's the entry point for home ownership. And you get enough lenders moving away from that program, we're going to kill housing in this country. FHA has an obligation to resolve this.
I tell you, it's troubling because if the lawsuits are founded or not is not what's at issue here. Personally, from what I've seen, I think HUD and the DOJ has overstepped their boundaries in the case of Quicken, who's the largest FHA lender in the country, who's also writing the cleanest book of FHA loans. So if that's the bar, being even if the best is not good enough, then everyone else in the space is going to take notice, and that's what's happening right now.
It's really the perception, not if the lawsuits are right or wrong, but the perception that if you write FHA loans and your company is highly visible, then an expensive lawsuit is simply a matter of time. And of course, if this is the perception, then the only course of action is to get out of the space, create an alternative, or simply limit your exposure by funding fewer FHA loans. And that's what's going on right now.
Thing is, as Dave Stevens said, FHA is a vitally important component to a healthy housing market. An inexpensive, low-down alternative that allows for blemished borrowers. Remember, Fannie and Freddie's average credit score on conventional loans is still in the mid-700s, which means that there's an enormous portion of potential home buyers that would be left out without a healthy FHA. That would be catastrophic, and it just can't be allowed.
You know, the real issue is liquidity.
Right.
I mean, we have to have a high level of liquidity to maintain a healthy housing market. So of course we have to have a healthy FHA because
Right.
somebody with a 680, 670 credit score is probably going to make their house payment, yet they might not be able to get in with an FHA or get in with a conventional loan.
Right.
The other part, as we said with Angel Oak, what we've missed in the market for the past 7 years, which is just mind-boggling,
Yeah.
is having the alternative documentation loans.
Right.
Imagine a world with a healthy FHA that's not sue happy,
Right.
and lenders are funding these deals and putting responsible homeowners into houses,
Yeah.
and having alternative documentation loans at the very same time.
Right.
How cool would that be to get people in homes who can afford homes and will responsibly make their house payments?
Yeah, there's a big difference between alternative documentation and no documentation, right? So
Exactly.
we're talking about being responsible, ability to repay.
Absolutely.
Again, check the Angel Oak banner on your right for more information. You guys have a great weekend. Leave your comments down below. Forward and share, subscribe free in your upper right-hand corner. We'll catch you later here at the National Real Estate Post.
Last question. Are you absolutely sick and tired of listening to politics on the news? I don't care what side you're on. Is it just numbing your brain?
Well, yeah, plus the players are just so outrageous, man. It's just crazy.
On every side.
I know, on both sides. Just, we'll see what happens.
I want to go straight up Elvis and shoot the TV. But you know, Hillary wouldn't allow that. I'm just kidding.
See you guys later.
Bye.